Emily here from A Sip of Sewing. I wanted to walk you through a little tutorial about creating collage cards using either our kit from the website, asipofsewing.com, or just your own materials. So I want to make sure that this is accessible to everyone. If you already have stitching supplies, if you're a quilter or stitcher, you already have fabric, thread, needle, scissors, all that good stuff, then definitely use your own supplies. If this is the first time you are ever doing any kind of slow stitch project, we do have kits available on our website. They are by theme. This one is a celebration themed one. It's nice and bright and cheery. We've got all kinds of different themes. They're at a great price, and everything you need is included in the kit. So the kits make four different greeting cards. So let's see, and I'll show you kind of end product. We're going to be making these collages. We've got some iron-on focal points in our kit, but I'll also talk about how we made those. And then this is just a nice little blank card for you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So to get started, here's all the materials that I have in my kit, if I have a kit. If not, you're going to need some fabric scraps. None of these are very big. The collages themselves on the cards are about, I don't know, maybe 3 by 4 at the most. The card itself is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's an A2 size. So it's just a nice little small, easy piece to do quickly. That's kind of what we're looking for, right? So we've got some fabric scraps. We've got some embroidery floss. We've got a needle. We definitely do need some scissors, so sewing scissors. And we've got our little focal points, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. So to get started, if you're using one of the kits, you should have coordinated fabric, which will look nice together. If you're gathering your own scraps, what you're looking for is some contrast, either in color, where like the purple here and this nice dark blue really kind of contrast with each other, in value. So we have a light blue or a dark blue, like value, hue, kind of lighter, darker, medium tones, right? Just like anything that will contrast with each other. That's what you're looking for, because as you stack up your pieces in your collage, you really want to see all of the work that you've put together here, right? So here I've just used 3 fabric pieces and they contrast nicely with each other. You can see all 3. So that's what we're looking to do. And then the rule that I typically follow is I like a larger background, I like a medium-sized piece, and then I like a smaller piece, and then my focal point. So I think in kind of terms of 3 for my background: large, medium, small. And then contrast, right? Large, medium, small, contrast. And then we can talk a little bit about composition, kind of thinking through the form that your collage is going to take. Where do you want the eye to go? A good thing to keep in mind is the rule of thirds, right? So basically, if you have a piece, let's just take a piece here, I'll show you, and you draw two imaginary lines to split the piece into thirds vertically, and then you draw 2 more horizontally. You would basically, where the points connect in the four points here, 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 and here, so your vertical lines, your horizontal lines, that is the rule of thirds, and your eye likes to go to those points. So when you have a piece that you're putting a focal point on, rather than sticking the focal point right in the center, you may consider kind of off-centering it just a little bit to get it more in one of those zones of thirds. All right, so here we are. Here's our scraps. We are going to take our first piece, and I'm going to make a little cut, and then I'm actually just going to rip it. So I am a fan of threads and rough edges. I think it gives my piece interest. So I'm going to start that way. So here's my larger background. I have my rip piece for my biggest piece. Now I need a medium piece, and I need it to contrast with this. So when I look at my pieces that come in the kit, I can see these are my two smallest pieces. So I'm going to save those for the small. I can go with a piece out of this as my medium. They contrast nicely with my smaller pieces. I can go with a piece out of this, but see how it doesn't quite contrast as much with my background. So I think maybe I'm going to save that for more background. Or I can go with this really nice dark piece, which contrasts nicely with this purple, right? So, or even this nice brighter blue. So maybe we'll do that. We'll do some kind of tone on tone there. So what I like to do for my middle pieces is I actually like to cut shapes. So I am a fan of ovals, circles, circular things. I really enjoy that. I think it gives it a little bit of interest. It's fun to stitch around. I never sketch these things out. Sorry, let me put it on camera for you guys. I never sketch these things out. I just kind of freeform cut. And yes, it ends up being a bit wonky. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. Wonky is fun, in my opinion. So I'm just going to cut a rough little oval and I'm going to stick it on there. And then I am going to take my little contrast bit. And I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to do a little tiny strip. And I'm going to put it over in my rule of thirds, right? I'm going to move it off centered here. And maybe I'm going to stitch it right there. And this way you can see, depending on which focal point I may want to use, my sunflower could go on there and be kind of cute. I could move my oval to the top maybe. And again, kind of make a cute little design with my little sunflower if I want to do something smaller as my focal point. I could put my little butterfly there. I think that's super cute. So again, I'll show you how to do the focal points in a minute, but let's stitch down our background first. So here's the three pieces that we like. We can take a couple pins. You'd have to supply your own pins. They're not in the kit, but take a pin or two. Make sure you've got those in there to hold it together while you're stitching. And then we can even test it on one of our cards, right? Will this be the right size? Will it show up? It's a little hard to see because it's white on white. In person, you can definitely see it. And that's something to note, we can put some stitching around the edging and that will actually help it show up on our card, right? But it's a great size for our card. Again, this is about a 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4 and a little bit, 4 and a quarter. And that's usually the size that I like to do. It's a nice size to hold in your hand. It's an easy size to stitch without any kind of hoop. So there we go. All right. So in this particular one, I've got some embroidery floss. I just use DMC, love it. You know, simple floss. If you bought the kit from us at asipofsewing.com, it comes with 4 strands of embroidery floss, 2 of one color, 2 of another color. Now embroidery floss comes in 6 stranded pieces, and I don't know, here I can try to zoom in a bit and see if you can see those 6 different strands there. Kind of hard to see, but it comes in 6 stranded. Here, I'll hold it over the dark. 6 little threads for each strand. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull some strands out. You don't want to use all 6 because number 1, it'll be really thick. Probably won't fit through your needle. And number 2, you won't have enough thread for all 4 pieces if you have a pack. So you want to split out 2 pieces. Easiest way to do this is actually just to pick one. So let me see if I can grab one here. Grab one, hold all the others with your other hand, and just slowly pull it out. And usually it comes right out, and the rest of it is just fine, no tangles, pops right out. right? So here's one, and then I'm going to pull one more because a single strand is very thin and won't really show up, and you want your stitching to show up. That's where you're putting your hard work in. So let's do one more strand. So we've got two nice strands that we're going to stitch with, and we're going to set the rest aside. And now we're going to take our two strands, sorry, trying to be under the camera here for you. We're going to take our two strands and we're going to thread those through our needle. And yes, got to do this. Got to do that off camera. Okay, there we go. And we will get a little knot in our end here and start stitching. So let me show you some of my favorite stitches. Now, what I will say is you do not have to be an expert in embroidery. I am definitely not. Sorry, I'm just knotting my end here really quickly. I claim no skills in embroidery whatsoever. And in my opinion, I think the funkier and the crazier, the better. I like wonky stitching. So that's what I do. I do wonky stitching. I do it on purpose, and I'm okay with that. So one of my favorite stitches to do is just your straight stitch. And that is when you basically go up through the back, and hang on, up through the back, and then you just go down. Can you see it? Yep, down into there. You come back up, you go down, and you just follow it that way. And I am not one of those people who puts a ton of stitches on my needle and fabric. Like, I am not good at that. I do a stitch at a time basically. So yes, it takes me longer. I'm okay with that. I'm also not trying to do perfection. Yeah, I just don't. So if you want an amazing tutorial from somebody who does a fantastic job stitching, I will link my very favorite embroiderers that are on YouTube. They will show you all kinds of amazing stitching. They are very, very talented folks. There's a lot of really wonderful artists who are out there sharing YouTube videos on how to embroider. So I will definitely link that for you. And I will link all the people that I know down below, all the people I know and follow, who will show you some amazing stitching. So here we go. I'll try to do another one here. I'm trying not to be in shadow, but I will say that I've kind of rigged this setup here, and I don't have the most amazing setup for you yet. Maybe someday. Right now, I'm just trying to get this out there so that I can introduce folks to our kits and introduce folks to this little process, and hopefully start a bunch of new people on this little slow stitch journey, because I find it so fun and so relaxing. It is a great just de-stressor in the evenings. It is super fun to just take some fabric, put some pieces together, pin them together, have them ready in a little pile. I do that quite often. I just have my little pieces good to go, you know, pinned together. Sit down after dinner with my hubby. Enjoy, we like to watch British mysteries, murder mysteries. So put some of those on the telly, and we just, yeah, we just enjoy doing that. And I will sit there and I will stitch away while we watch a whodunit. And it's just so relaxing in the evening. So again, it goes real fast. It's very quick and easy. As you can see, I am not worrying about being straight. I am not worrying about the same length of every single stitch. I am being a little bit crazy and a little bit wonky, and that's okay. So there we go. I'm not going to do this whole thing because you don't need to see me kind of struggle through this as I'm working around the little camera setup I have here. But I've got some wonky stitches in there. starting to look kind of cute. And yeah, that's basically all I do is just stitch the two pieces together. Now, what the other stitch I really want to show you, and I will not take credit for it. It's not a stitch I came up with. The first time I saw it, and maybe she came up with it, I don't know. But it was on Roxy's channel, and of course I can't think of what it is right now while I'm talking to you, but I will link it below. Roxanne, she is amazing and does wonderful stitches, and she has this, I think she calls it like a hidden stitch. And you basically end up with more thread on the back than you do on the front, but it creates amazing texture to your piece. And on these little tiny cards, it's nice to have a little bit of texture in your backgrounds because they really show, because your pieces are so small. So let me show you how to do this. Basically, it's going to be on dark fabric, but hopefully you'll be able to see it because I'm using a light thread. So you come up from behind in your fabric, and then when you go down again into it, you're going to go very, very, very close to where you came up. So I'm just taking, couple of threads of fabric really, and I'm making a little teeny tiny stitch. It's really, really small stitch. So you can see my running stitch next to it is much, much bigger. This one is teeny, teeny, tiny little stitch. And then I'm going to skip some space on the back. I'm just going to go up. Let's see, I don't even know if you can see where my needle is. I'm going to skip an area and go up here again. My needle. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to just take another little teeny, teeny, tiny stitch. Sorry if I'm off camera, but I need to be able to see where I'm stitching it. Okay, little teeny tiny stitch. And I'm just going to repeat this over and over and over again, and I'm going to fill up all of this with these little teeny tiny stitches. And what that's going to give us, let me do one more real quick, and I'll show you then kind of this pattern that you'll see on the back. So when you've got like this little wonderful textury hidden stitch, holds the pieces together wonderfully well, gives you a little tiny bit of fun and texture in your piece. See that? Little teeny tiny stitches. And then on the back, you'll see you've got quite a bit of thread in between your stitches. See how there's long pieces of thread. So if this makes you cringe, I apologize. It's not a thread saver stitch, but it really makes the coolest texture. I think it's so fun to do. So I encourage you to do it. I think it's a fun stitch. It's really easy, really relaxing. It doesn't matter if you're evenly spaced. It doesn't matter if you go a little bit wonky. It gives you a wonderful textured pattern in there. So, there we go. So those are the two big stitches that I use all the time. Running stitch, little hidden stitch. Sometimes I will use a buttonhole stitch every once in a while. I'm not very good at it. I definitely use X's. I was a cross stitcher for a while, so I may, put in some fun X's here and there. Usually I put X's in where I want the stitching to really show. So maybe I would change to my other thread that I have in this packet. It's a darker blue, and then I could put maybe some X's up the side here so that it really stands out and shows. One of the other things I love to do, especially if I have a curved piece like this, and I'll show you on one that I already have done, I love to do kind of bigger running stitches. So again, these are just running stitches, but I love to kind of follow the curve around and just do these big old running stitches. It's really fun. I did it on this piece as well, where you can just see here's the curve, and it just has running stitches all the way around. So I encourage you to just have fun, be free with it, stitch away, and then basically when you're all done stitching, we're going to fuse our focal point on top. So if you bought a kit from me, you have pre-fused, ready to go little applique pieces. They're ready to just iron on. There is a backing to them. You peel off the backing. It's just paper backing, and you peel that off, and then there's a little bit of sticky kind of glue stuff, and you put that down. You put it wherever you want it. So stick it on here, and then I just press a medium heat, no steam iron to it. Hold it there for 10, 15, 20 seconds. Kind of move it every once in a while, but really just hold it. Don't like rub it like crazy. Just the weight of the iron and the heat will hold it down for you, and it'll be permanent enough on a greeting card, right? So you're not throwing these in the washer. You're not going to be rough handling these. The steaming, or not steaming, sorry, the ironing will hold it down, and it will be permanent on there, and it won't fray. The edges won't fray. Everything will be fine. If you're making your own focal points, what you want and what I suggest you use, you can use any kind of fusible, but what I like to use is Steam a Seam 2. So follow the package instructions on your Steam a Seam 2. Find some lovely fabric that has some beautiful designs. I found this gorgeous butterfly fabric, right? It's just a piece of fabric. I put it on my Steam a Seam 2, and when you put it on your fusible, let me move this out of the way. When you put it on your fusible, you'll notice I don't have it trimmed all the way to the edge, right? I fused it down onto my fusible with space all the way around it. Because then what I do is I take my really nice, I use Karen K. Buckley scissors, so very nice serrated, very sharp scissors, and I cut it to the edge now, after it's fused. And the reason I do that is because it keeps the edges really nice and they're not all frayed. So that is my tip to you. If you do this yourself, grab some fusible. I like Steam a Seam 2. Read the package instructions. Keep it bigger than you want it, right? Bigger than you want it in the end. Fuse it down, then trim. And when you trim, you'll have your little tiny piece that has the paper on the back. It's just trimmed out. See, it's just same, just trimmed out closer. And it's sticky all the way up to the very edge. So when I fuse it down, it's not going to fray and unravel. So those are my tips. And then final step. So we've got everything done. We've got this already fused. So remember, heat first. Make sure this is totally 100% done. Then we're going to take our blank card, and to put our piece onto our card, there is, you can use double-sided tape. Of course, now I can't find my piece. You can use double-sided tape. You can use, I recommend like scrapbook, double-sided scrapbook type tape. It's not your Scotch tape. It's stronger, right? So it's like a plasticky tape. That's what you want to use. You want to use something pretty darn permanent. You don't want to just use something like Scotch tape. It won't adhere good enough. If you buy the kit from us, from the website, it comes with this sheet of double-sided sticky. So I'll take my pencil and I'll kind of roughly like say, okay, I need about, let's see, can you see what I'm doing here? I need about this size, right? So I'm going to make a line. I don't know if you can see that, but here you go. I made a line and I need it slightly smaller than that, right? So, and I don't need adhesive all the way out to the very, very edge. I need adhesive to kind of cover like most of it, but definitely not all of it. I can also do strips. I don't have to do one big solid piece. I can just cut little strips and that'll be fine. And I can put one strip here and one strip here. Again, it's on a greeting card. No one is going to be putting this in the washing machine. It just needs to stick well enough to stay, to get through the mail, to be displayed in someone's home, maybe popped into a frame because they love it, because you made it by hand, right? So doesn't need a ton of adhesive, just needs enough to really get it to be good and to stick. So I'm going to take my piece that I kind of roughly measured. I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to trim it, of course, a little bit smaller than that. Oops. Okay. Cut it down. I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. All right. So here we go. Here's our piece. And then what I'm going to do, I will rough measure it, make sure I didn't make it too big. This one's almost too big, but I think it's okay. You can see how it's almost just a tiny bit over the edge. You don't want that because it's double-sided, so it'll make your card sticky, and you don't want your card to be sticky. So we're going to trim off a little bit more, right? And then here we go. Okay, so that's going to be good to go. Let me get my needle out of here and cut off my thread. Now the great thing is I don't really have to knot my piece too much. Like, I want to adhere my threads, but I don't need to knot it too much because I'm going to put some sticky on the back. So it's going to hold everything together, and nobody's going to see the back because it's going to be on a card. So I don't even need to worry about it. It can be messy. It can be knotty. It can be, I can have all kinds of threads running all over the place. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see it. So I'm going to take my double-sided adhesive. I'm going to take off the first side, which is this yellow side in the stuff in the kit. Otherwise, go buy some double-sided. You can find it on Amazon. It's like scrapbook, double-sided scrapbook tape, I think is what I searched, and that's what came up. Comes in rolls, comes in sheets. Pretty inexpensive. But I'm just going to stick that down just like that, right? Easy to do, no problem. If I really mess this up and get it all crazy, you can peel off the fabric, but it will stretch your fabric and it kind of messes it up. So just try to get it where you need it the first time carefully. You don't have to fuss too much. Again, that's why I say trim it a bit smaller so that you can kind of skew it a little bit and it'll be fine. And then hardest part is taking off this other piece. But here we are. Now, do what I say and not what I do, right? I did not iron this yet because I'm talking to you guys and I don't know how to edit video. So I'm doing this all in one take. Make sure you iron this on first before you put it on your paper card. And the reason is heat and your paper card do not mix well. It makes for an unhappy, wrinkly card, even without steam. I have tried it. It's not good. It will wrinkle your card, and also I don't know how well this adhesive will hold up to heat. So you want to make sure your stitching piece is 100% done, including the fusing on of your main focal point, before you put the adhesive on and before you put it on your card. Okay, so that's my warning to you. So here we are, we have our piece, it's all done. It's amazing. I've got it all with the sticker. Now I'm gonna peel off this backing. Ooh, look at me, it came right off. Okay, peel off this backing. I am going to center it just as good as I can, and I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm going to stick it down. Done. So here we are. I've got this amazing, cute little piece. It's got all kinds of nice little fringe because I ripped that bottom piece, remember? So we took a little notch and we were able to rip it. Fabric is lovely that way. It lets you rip it. We trimmed our little wonky circle, which, you know, so cute, right? Who cares if it's wonky? It's adorable. I would have added more stitching if I wasn't on video with you right now. So I like to fill my piece up with a lot of stitching, and then put my focal point on and then call it good. So I hope you found that little tutorial helpful, how I create these little mini collages. I am going to be sharing a lot of different photos of how I use the little collages. I do other things besides putting them on cards. So there will be lots of photos if you go over to Instagram. Look up A Sip of Sewing and you can find me there. I'd love for you to join me. If you make any of these little collages or collage cards, I'd love to see it, so please share with me. You can @ me over on Instagram. Leave any comments that you'd like to down below on the video. And if you have any questions, if you want to get a hold of me, if you want to check out our kits, please come check out our website. It's brand new. It's at asipofsewing.com, and we'd love to see you over there. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.